We've all seen the meltdown videos of people across the country distraught over the election of Donald Trump as the next president of the United States of America. But there's a more serious conversation that we need to have, and that is the legacy media in Hollywood. They were broken that night, their lies laid bare, because for months they showed us polling data that said that Kamala Harris was going to run away with it, when of course the opposite wound up being true. And if you were looking in the right places, all the signs were there as to what was really going to happen that night. And of course, we talked about that for quite some time, as did many others. But today, we've got to have the conversation about what is going to happen to the legacy media and to Hollywood, to companies like the Walt Disney Company going forward. By the way, their earnings call is Thursday, November 14th, this week. We'll be covering that live. They're going to have a lot to answer for. Renegade Online. Well, it's November 10th. We are just less than a week removed from one of the biggest days in American history, as it is every 4 years with Election Day. Donald J. Trump has been declared the victor. And, well, you know, this show has kind of taken an unexpected turn, I guess, in the last couple of weeks, because we have deviated more into the political side of things. But as I've told people here for years, and I've said this in the last several shows, that, you know, we don't go into politics per se, but the problem is that Hollywood seems to be unable to divorce itself from politics, and that is key. We've said that for nearly 4 years that we've been on YouTube, nothing has changed. And in fact, I could make the argument that over the last several years that mantra has become even more codified, with Hollywood's insistence in going deeper and deeper down the leftist rabbit hole. So I have something for the audience to think about tonight. I'm going to give you a situation. I'm going to give you something to ponder because, well, we're going to have a little fun right now. And this is how the show is going to go. But before I get into that, thank you for being here. Nearly 800 of you watching as we begin this show, and that number is growing. For those of you that are watching us on X, something that we have recently ventured into for these live stream broadcasts, welcome aboard. Now, we love having you here, and we love the fact that you're watching us on X. And believe me, I adore X. What Elon Musk has done to the cultural and, more importantly, the political zeitgeist is nothing short of astonishing. And it's going to be something to monitor here in the next few years, because I think it's only going to get more and more and more important for everybody to see the shifting of the winds. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about tonight, because we've got some great guests, some that are here now, some that are going to be coming a little bit later on, because we have so many different topics to go through and so many different points of view to impart to you, the viewer, because, hey, that's what we do here. We try to bring as much and as many, well, diverse voices. And by diverse, of course, you know, in the real world, in the normal world, in the thinking person's world, men and women, thinking people. You know, it's not just about what color your skin is. It's not just about what country of origin your grandparents hailed from. It's not about who you sleep with. And no, it's not even about what gender that you may or may not identify as based on what you were, quote, assigned at birth. It's all about diversity of thought. Diversity of thought is the paramount piece of critical importance to the function of a healthy republic. Yeah, a republic, not a democracy. The United States of America is a republic. Well, I mean, if you don't believe me, just, you know, give yourself the Pledge of Allegiance right now and see if the word democracy is even in it. It isn't, but the word republic is. And that's because we're a country that is governed not by mob rule. We are governed by the rule of law. And the rule of law is something that protects each and every individual citizen from mob rule. See, even back in the days of the Greeks, the whole democratic method was even considered by some circles problematic because of the mob rule, where 51% of the people could dictate terms to the other 49%. That's not freedom. That's tyranny. And tyranny is easily manipulated. Tyranny is easily fraught with problems. Tyranny is easily cultivated, especially in this day and age, by modern media, by modern politics, by Hollywood, for example. If it was so easy in 2024 for the media to manipulate the culture out there, then the election on Tuesday night would have had perhaps a very different result. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about tonight. But in so far as it relates to Hollywood, so bear with me as you smash the like button, as you smash the share button, and you send things out to X, and you send this stream out to Facebook, all the other social media platforms, and you tell YouTube by smashing the like button that, hey, we like this Valiant guy. Hey, even if you don't like this Valiant guy, maybe you like what this Valiant guy has to say, because you can see right down there. It's been a mantra of this channel for quite some time. We are the harbingers of truth. And I don't intend for that to change anytime soon. So, bear with me for a moment. Consider this, if you will. I am going to give you a situation to ponder. And I want you to start asking yourselves a number of questions. What am I talking about? Good luck. If you were somebody who was put in charge of a multi-million-dollar operation, nay, multi-hundreds of millions of dollars operation, perhaps even further, a billion-dollar operation, and I told you you had to go out and create a product and sell a product to the global audience, but specifically something for the American audience, because that is where the real juice is. And you were going to base all of your decisions on perhaps what would turn out to be later on faulty data. Well, we have seen this many times, have we not? We have seen this to where people are given power over things that maybe they shouldn't otherwise have, and they are making decisions in vacuums, very deep blue vacuums, places like California, places like New York, that often bear little resemblance to the rest of the cultural zeitgeist, to the rest of America, the rest of the country. Well, we all saw the map Tuesday night to see what that looks like. But consider, if you will, if you were going to fight against people that were trying to tell you otherwise, that were trying to tell you no, that spending $500 million or $1 billion on certain products out there might not return the results that you were expecting, no matter what type of gaslighting and lies that you have told the public in years gone by. Maybe for 10 years, you had great success gaslighting people because you had the media behind you, because you had other entities behind you, because you had politics and culture behind you. But the problem is that you rested on your laurels. The problem was that you felt like you could just keep going down this same road again and again and again. And nothing would change, that the culture and the people watching you would continue to get more stupid. The people would keep believing the lies. And then you woke up one day and, well, the actual returns started coming in. You know, the actual real math, the numbers, the finances, the dollars would start coming in. And you started realizing that the only people believing your lies and your bullcrap anymore was you. Well, let's talk about that, because we've seen a number of things right now. If you were going to spend billions of dollars to create failed products, and right now, you out there in the audience watching this show, if you're thinking that I'm talking about the Walt Disney Company and Hollywood with things like this, where they created this absolute crap to tell folks that Star Wars and Marvel was winning when it clearly wasn't, falsifying information like this even to investors, well, you're right. But it gets more fun. If you think I'm talking about the national polling data from places like the Morning Consult, or as our friend Mark Mitchell from Rasmussen refers to it as the Morning Compost, you're also right. You see, it doesn't matter right now whether you think you're right or wrong, whether you think that we're talking about the Walt Disney Company or we're talking about the Kamala Harris campaign in the DNC. You see, the fact of the matter is, you're right, because both have performed equally egregiously. Both have absolutely shellacked their quote-unquote shareholders. Both have compelled people to spend billions of dollars for products that were proven to be trash based on information and data that, as we now know, looking back through the 2020 perfect vision of hindsight, was bullcrap. See, Kamala Harris's campaign spent over $1 billion in the same way that the Walt Disney Company has spent billions of dollars to try to get you in to see a bunch of garbage like Marvel and Star Wars, based on the fact that they were guided by idiocy, guided by lies, guided by their own self-importance, their own self-aggrandizement. And none of it was real. As Disney has lost billions of dollars on movies and Disney Plus shows, so too has the DNC and Democrats on their own self-important lies. And as ridiculous as it is, well, I mean, don't take my word for it. We've been doing this a long time. We've been doing this a number of years. As a matter of fact,
is Mickey Mouse about to lose his house? It seems woke Disney fairy tales equal low ticket sales. Box office analysis of Disney's last 8 studio releases show a shocking loss of nearly $1 billion. That's almost a lawsuit. That's according to a number crunch by prominent YouTuber VALLIANT RENEGADE, who argues that many of Disney's recent so-called hits barely broke even or flat out tanked.
And that is right there in that intro for that monologue is what we are going to discuss. I mean, this has been an absolutely bonkers situation. And as I had here just a moment ago, this is the kind of thing that leads us into this discussion. $1 billion spent by the Kamala Harris campaign, reportedly $20 million in debt even after.
My goodness.
Yeah, and I could not... Yeah, I could not divorce myself from the thought that this sounds an awful lot like a typical bullcrap Disney production. And you know what, guys and girls, considering the station in life of one Dana Walden, the heir apparent of the Walt Disney Company, old dear friend of Comrade Kamala Harris, the woman who introduced Kamala Harris to Doug Emhoff, her current beta boy husband. Look, this is a repudiation, I think, this week, not only of the politics that are out there with the DNC. This is also a repudiation of Hollywood at large. And we've got some great people here, none the least of which, sitting a couple of spots below me, Matthew Marsden, who just wrapped a tremendous live show on his channel today. If you guys are not following Matthew out there, you're missing out. Every day almost now, Matthew, seems like you're doing a show, man. Welcome aboard.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, I mean, it's thanks to people like you who have encouraged me to start opening my mouth, because I'm actually, although I am an actor, I do believe that actors should keep their gob shut and not get involved in politics. But, they just wouldn't leave us alone, would they? So you got to balance it up a little bit.
Yeah, you really do. And it's gotten bad out there. And for those of you that don't know, Matthew, you're one of the folks out there, and hopefully Mark will be joining us here in a couple of minutes, just like Mark Mitchell. Mark Mitchell of Rasmussen, they have been blacklisted from the political elite, right? Because they had the temerity of expressing a different, I don't think opinion is the right word, because they're not expressing an opinion. They're expressing mathematical data that they have collected that they think is right. And lo and behold, They were totally right. They were the most right pollster in this election cycle. And you, Matthew, over the years, you were a rising star in Hollywood. You were part of some tremendous films like Black Hawk Down, like Rambo back in 2006, 7. And Hollywood didn't like what you had to say because, everybody else in Hollywood gets to express their opinion, but a guy like you, no.
Yeah, well, it's funny. Like they call themselves the most tolerant, right? They're very they keep talking about diversity and tolerance, but really it's tolerance and diversity within a very, very narrow framework, right? And they don't. What I found was that I started asking questions back in the day. I think it was around the time of Obama. And I just started asking a few questions because everyone was on the Obama train. And I'm like, hey, hold on a second. Like, are you meant to this is American tradition, right? You grill the politicians, like you're meant to hold them accountable. You're meant to ask questions. And nobody was asking any questions. And when you started asking, all of a sudden people were like, you're not allowed to do that. Yeah. And that's when I really saw the way that they were. And it's been absolutely remarkable to see, that because they continued, talking about Disney, for example, like they have gone on goodwill for such a long time, and from their back catalog, which is huge,
and which they despise. They hate it. They hate that.
They hate it. Yeah. This is the point. They hate the stuff that actually created them and allowed them to be able to make the BS that they're doing right now. And it's the same thing with the actors. Like actors, for the most part, have become very, very wealthy off the backs of regular Americans. And they hate them because they think they're simpletons. They think they're idiots. Which is ironic because I cannot tell you a dumber group of people in the world than actors. I mean, that's the great thing about Tropic Thunder, right? Where they're morons, moronical, like the stupidest that ever lived. They really don't think for themselves. And it's, I think that what this election has done is the American people have said, hang on a second, you're not gaslighting us anymore. You're not telling us the way that we should be. And they're pushing back, and they're pushing back on Hollywood. And this has been a real, well, you'd think it would be a wake-up call, but I'm going to tell you, they're going to double down again even more because they think that they're right. You saw people come out and say, you know what, we didn't go far enough. There are people that are saying, let's run Kamala again. I'm like, please do.
Right?
So what it does is it's the amazing thing about it is that people like yourself and the other people on this platform now have been proven to be correct in what they've been saying all along. And much of it is just having the touch of the common man, right? And saying, this is, we don't want to be preached to. We just want to watch a movie. Excuse me, Mr. Meat Puppet, shut your cake hole and act. That's all we want. We don't want you telling us about how much better you are from Beverly Hills. And that's it.
Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.